Hello everyone, welcome to my applied computing class. I'm so excited to have all of you in this class to learn this valuable skill, which is Microsoft Excel. Now the important thing is that this is used in most of the organizations to achieve day-to-day tasks. I have sent you a long welcome email. And if you could read it a number of times, you will understand that the most important items are all gathered. So if you want to ask a question, make sure it is not addressed in my welcome email. I have clearly stated the following areas. What is the subject? Then what is your role? And then I had given you assessment deadlines. Then I have given you problem solving stage, what you expected to do. Also, this is extensions. Extensions are generally asked for an emergency cases. If that is so, make sure that you have sent weekly notes to the forum and you were in touch throughout, so that I know when you're asking an extension, it is a genuine case. If you do not have any contributions to any of the forums for the 10 weeks, and all of a sudden you are asking for an extension, I'm sorry, I won't be able to grant it because there is no evidence of you being in touch with the rest of the group. Right? So it's better to explain these things in the beginning. My welcome email also addresses marking and grading and how online study is affecting our students and what students say about it. Also the suggested approach to your learning. Then there was one little extraction I have taken from a student expressing what lynda.com is. Lynda.com is a website that you are using for resources, especially the Learn Microsoft Excel package. You could read that. They are all in my welcome email. And I had given you two plans. These are study plans. These two plans are different. One is starting from assessment 1. The other one is starting from assessment 2. So look at the difference between those two and let me know which one you selected. Welcome email also addresses how to deal with our learning management system. Then how important the activities are for your study. It's not just activities. We have some readings and also tutorials. They all are compulsory. In addition to that, I have separate forum courses for each assessment with additional resources. The resources I give are the minimum resources. If you find something else better than my resources, please let me know. Because in this day and age, when we use internet, the sky is the limit for you to find resources. I have indicated the number of methods that we use to communicate with our online students. One is a virtual classroom called VisIQ. The other one is the Skype or Zoom software where I can give one-on-one support. In addition to that, we use email and quick mail. Quick mail is the one going through your learning management system. Welcome email clearly indicates the importance of attendance. Every week I need to mark present for you by being in the class. I can do so when you post a note to the weekly forum post. When you do so, indicate where you are with your study. That is also important. And when I create the forum threads for specific assessments, please collaborate with rest of the students in the class. That's for you. So don't wait a response from me. Talk to some other student and then discuss among yourself, which we call Vygotsky's social learning theory. Social collaboration is one of the important elements for your study. What you need to do is you need to acknowledge this, the receipt of this welcome message through the forum link, not by reply post. So that is important, and I hope you would be able to remember all I said.
When you are using Microsoft Excel, there can be number of versions. Right now I'm using 2016, but you may be using either 2013, 2010 or 2007. Regardless of the version of the Excel that you use, you need to make sure you have achieved the required skills prescribed for you in the learning management system. Now, one thing I need to tell you in particular, when you use Excel, there is a calculating option. Now, you can see in my hand, there is a calculator. Now, if I want to calculate some numbers, what I have to do is, I have to take my finger and press, let's assume 78 plus 81 plus 91 plus 120, press equal. And then I have to get the answer. Once I get the answer, I can write it in Excel. You can see at the back of some Excel sheet with some graphs. So it has little bricks we call cells. So you can write the total in that Excel, one of the cells. But now the issue is that what employers are expecting from you? And that's a question you need to ask. What you could do is, you can do a seek job search and find out what Excel skills exactly the employers are looking for. And if you could find out an advertisement which says, use of calculator manually and then insert data to an Excel sheet as a requirement for the job, please let me know. I'm more than happy to hear that. The reason is, to my knowledge, none of the employers here in Australia do not ask that kind of skills from an employee. So that means this one, the manual calculation and inserting the numbers of the final data into an Excel sheet is going out. Right? So what's coming in here is, you will be using this Excel, the sheet, the big sheet, which has a lot of rectangles. You'll be learning how to use this Excel to do any type of calculation, to automate data, to plot the graphs, to keep a record for a number of years, and also to link sheets, maybe link sheets in the same workbook, or it could be in different workbooks. Like that, a number of skills you will be learning.
I'm going to show you some of the ways to find out Excel examples, right? Generally, you can go to internet, and on the Google search bar, you could type Excel samples, and from the links that that come up, you can select one by one. There is one other place that is easier to find Excel samples better than internet. So to do that, I'm going to share my screen and to show you how that could be done. So the first step is, I have opened Microsoft Excel sheet. Right? This is the workbook, and you could see these rectangles we call cells. Now, if you go to File and if you go click on New, you could find samples. And if you hear it says, look at the samples: business, personal, industry, small business, calculator, financing, accounting, list. Let's look at business. We click on business. Once you click on business, it show you what kind of samples it got. And if you look at my right side, the categories, you can see business 252, small business, industry, so finance, accounting, enterprise, picture, business cards. Let's click on business. When you click on business, you will find what is there. It says startup expenses. Let's click on it. It says expense trends. That's a good one. The trend. Now, how much are you going to spend in the next few months? These are called trend. The likelihood. Then startup expenses. So what you could do is click on any of these Excel sheets and then have a look, so to get an idea of how people use Excel. So what I selected was warehouse inventory list, and that showed me, look at the way how the information is gathered. There are some hyperlinks here. If you see, I took my mouse over inventory pick list, and there is a hand pops up. That means there is a hyperlink there. It is connected to something. Let's click, see what happens. Oh, it goes to another sheet, which is inventory pick list, and it is here. Now, can you see that there are 3 sheets in this Excel workbook: inventory list, inventory pick list, bin lookups list. So let me click another one, clear pick list. It says, do you want to proceed? It's asking question. I'll leave it there. Okay, I'm going to close it. It says inventory list. It came back to where we were. So that shows what can be done with this Excel. So similarly, I don't want to save anything here. Similarly, you could go to another file, another Excel workbook and have a look. This time I'm going to click on personal. So under personal, these are the things that I could use. These are the examples available under personal. Again, you select what you want. Okay, so that will help you to figure out how Excel is used in organizations to achieve tasks.
The next important item is, I want you to remember that no matter where you start, it could be the very beginning stage, but with your commitment, you can go as far as you decide. So when you talk about resources, remember, we provide you resources in the form of the sessions, the notes, the video clips. So that is through learning management system. So as in my welcome email, I have clearly indicated the types of resources you could use. In addition to that, you could use YouTube. It's a huge database, and for Microsoft Excel, there are a number of tutorials available on YouTube readily. So please use them. The next important item is, you need to have these 3 important areas to focus on. One is critical reading and critical viewing. So that's quite interesting. Critical reading, meaning when you read something, perhaps you might be sleeping. But remember that when you sleep, your brain will be idle and it's not processing any information. So therefore, critical reading meaning you will read something, you keep a note, and you make connections with other materials given. And then you are reflecting on that. The same thing applies with critical viewing. You will have number of video clips recommended for you. But if you are listening that and without concentrating and without keeping a little note with you, then it would not be considered as critical reading or critical viewing. So the importance of critical and just is different. Just reading is something I can get a piece of paper and read, and I could be in the sleep. That means I cannot remember what I said. Same thing by looking at a video clip. Sometimes our mind is not there, so it's not critical. So when it comes to critical, remember that you have to have a little note with you. It could be either on a piece of paper, or it could be on a computer program that you could use. And then you have to get the concepts and connect them together. That would make sense, and see which areas this will be applied. So that means you need some time to think about that. So that's one of the most important elements here. It's called critical reading or critical viewing, right? Number 2 is the writing style. Writing meaning it's not just generalizing a paragraph. You should be bringing your arguments based on credible resources on internet, right? Credible meaning not Wikipedia. So to do that, the best thing is for you to refer Students' Study Skills handout that has hints to write assignments, to follow APA referencing style, how to write summaries, and some of the keywords, definitions, they all are there in one pack we call Students' Study Skills handout. Okay? Now I have outlined most of the areas required for you to start this subject. The remaining important elements are your time management skills. Time has to be managed. If not, you won't be able to submit assignments in time. Right? In my welcome email, I had given you assessment submission, two study plan options. One is starting with assessment 1, a write-up. The other one is starting with assessment 2 and 3. Those are practical tasks, right? It's up to you to decide which study plan you are going to follow. I'm going to see in the end who is going to complete the whole course. So this is my brand new thinking, having delivered this subject for more than 6-7 years. I'm going to see how many of you are going to complete this and following which study plan, right? This is a practical subject. So having said all the information, we have to find out a starting point. As it is a practical subject, I would leave the write-up part, that is assessment 1, behind. So in this Excel, this is 2016 Excel workbook. I have opened one sheet here. What you are going to do is just experiment with what's happening here. I have selected here, I clicked on D1. You can see that the Excel sheet is divided into columns as well as rows. Columns, you can find out how many columns are there, and on an experiment basis, see whether it is 10, 15, 1000, 10,000, 15,000, 65,000 or more, right? It's up to you, find out. Or if not, carry out a Google search and then you will find. Same thing applies with number of rows in an Excel sheet. Now I have clicked here D1, that means column D, first row. So if you look at that D1 and you can see the left side, D1, that's a name box. The name box is telling my mouse is right now in D1. So that means an Excel, each cell has a name, right? So there is no name called Ramya here because I am not part of that. The names are given based on the columns and the row numbers, right? So the cell naming method is column name comes first, followed by the row number, right? So you can write down a number here and then click enter. So mouse goes to the next level. You can write another number here and enter. So mouse goes down, next cell, and then write down another number. It went to the next cell. If you look at this is the menu bar, and the below menu bar is the ribbon. At the end of right side of the ribbon, it says auto sum. By the time auto sum is there, my mouse is just under the cells with numbers. Now, by having that means my mouse is in D4. So at that point, if I click auto sum, it automatically calculating the total. Now, can you see that? A formula was simply popped up. And you can see here, this box is called formula bar. Formula bar has the equation. There is sum. That means equation always starts with equal mark. After equal mark, it says sum. Sum means total. And open a bracket, it says D1, D3. See how it was written. It says the Excel calculate the total of D1 to D3. It says starting cell D1 and D3 is the last cell. In between, there is a colon, and you can see that. At the end, the bracket is closed, right? So I took my mouse at the end and press enter. Here it is. I've got beautifully 945. If I click here, I know that there is a formula appearing on formula bar. So if you use the calculator, the manual calculator, and if I find only numbers without formulas, that means my hands are tied, I can't do anything. I have to mark you as incompetent and give you another chance, right? Because this is not what I want. I have to achieve what is expected by Australian qualification framework. And also it is in line with what is expected at the workplace. I hope you will understand this message very clearly. And remember this, Finally, I want to say Excel is a wonderful tool. I love it using, and I'm sure you would love it too. And the whole world is using it, especially in the workforce. There are a number of ways of using Excel. So you may find little difficult in the beginning sometimes, but not always. But the help is always there. Simply send an email or post to the forum saying what your issue is. And spend some time on the lynda.com resources. They are wonderful. Why we are doing this is, at the end of this semester, you may find you are rich in terms of employable skills. You can write in your CV, you have Microsoft Excel knowledge, maybe more than a beginner. I would say that, because when you try it in your CV, have to say Excel, whether it is up to the beginner's level, or is it an intermediate or advanced or expert user, right? I still call myself advanced rather than expert. Expert user is, we don't need to waste that word. Expert meaning those who are dealing with Visual Basic to deal with Excel functions, right? Visual Basic is the language behind Microsoft Excel. So by keeping that in mind, make sure you are gaining these employable skills, and that is for your lifetime. So enjoy your learning, every minute of it. Bye.